Just a quick note before we start. You won't be asked to turn off on any junctions on this path. It's a circuit around the pond, and the pond will be on your left-hand side throughout the entire walk. Welcome to the walk today. We're starting facing the pond, and we're going to turn to the right. So we start off along this smooth tarmac surface, and we're going to start at a nice easy pace as always. And as we walk along, we're going to check in with a few things like the posture, the intensity, and just generally how you feel about your stage and your fitness journey. So let's set our intention for the walk. We want to get the heart rate up a little bit. We want to look at having good posture. So we want to set our shoulders back, so bring your shoulders round, back and down. Have a wee look at your thumbs. Where are your thumbs pointing? Are they pointing forwards? Or are your palms facing your thighs? If your palms are facing your thighs, then you want to have them facing the sides of your body. This just helps to set our shoulders into a good posture. The other thing you want to think about is taking the crown of your head. Imagine you've got a string attached to it, pulling it up towards the sky. That's going to create a bit of space between your ribs and your hips, and it's going to keep your back nice and straight and the muscles in the back of your body engaged. Now we are going to be walking at a nice easy pace. We're not going to have a particularly intense session, and you'll see there are plenty of benches along the route if you feel that you do need to take a wee break at any time. And if you do, just pause the audio and come back to me when you're ready. There's no rush here. This is all about just making those first steps. And speaking of steps, we're going to think about the feet. Do you notice, are you landing with a slightly flat foot? Or are you landing with a nice heel strike, followed by a roll through, and then a push off the toe? That's what we're looking for. We're trying to get that nice heel strike, roll through and push, because that's ultimately what's going to propel us forwards. And it's going to help to switch on some of the muscles again in the back of the body, those all important posterior muscles. So we'll check in again with the feet and the posture a wee bit later. So in terms of intensity, where do you want to be for this walk? I like to think of intensity, an easy way to think about it is on a scale of effort. So 1 being no effort at all, just like you've got out of bed in the morning, you're not in any way out of breath, and 10 being at the top of the scale, absolutely exhausted. You've exerted yourself, really exerted yourself, and you're absolutely exhausted. So that's a 10. On this walk, we want to be around about a 3, maybe a 4. Excellent, well done. What a good start you've made. Let's keep it going at that nice easy pace. Now I'm not expecting you to get to the 3 right now, because we are just sort of warming up, but maybe a wee bit into the walk, you might feel that you're able to pick up your pace ever so slightly. But remember, this is just an introduction, so we don't have to go too hard at it today. Now if you're getting to the point where you've done a few of these walks now, a few of these beginner walks, and you're ready to sort of take it up to the next level, you of course can be doing these walks a bit faster, and you maybe do want to push it up a wee bit to maybe the sort of 5 or 6 range, and that can be done. These are all nice flat surfaces. We don't really have to worry about any trip hazards. And walking at pace is a great way to make that progression. So if you're there, you might find that you're walking faster than I am. And if that's the case, you might be getting to landmarks and you find that you have to pause the audio to let me catch up with you. And that's fine. But if you are at that stage, I would suggest that maybe you're ready for the improvers walks rather than the beginners walks. So you maybe want to have a wee look at what else I offer and look at other ways that you can progress. Well done. You're doing great. Keep it going. How's your core? Are your core muscles engaged? How do we engage the core muscles? You might want to think about it like taking your belt and trying to go through the loops. Now you try to tighten your belt, you go through the wee holes in your belt and you have to sort of pull your stomach muscles in. That's basically tightening your core muscles. If that doesn't help you, then perhaps imagine there's a little kid about stomach height just running at you full force, about to slam into you. You'd have to really brace your core, wouldn't you? So that's maybe another way that you can think about it. Or you can think about gently pulling your belly button in towards your spine. We don't want to get to the point where we can't breathe. It's just a gentle pull and we're holding it there. And what that's doing is it's supporting the spine. It's keeping us nice and tall, and it's getting ready to take any small movements, unexpected movements. So if we were to say you were to fall off down a pothole or something, then if your core's engaged, it's more likely to absorb that impact. So it's just a very good habit to build. And with all these things, it is habit forming. It is about doing it over and over again, repetitively, until the point comes where you don't have to think about it anymore and you just automatically do it. Let's carry on. Let's now take a moment. Let's just work on some breathing techniques. Nothing complicated. Just let's see if you're breathing through your nose. Are you able to breathe through your nose? I appreciate that not everybody can, but if you can, try and take some nice deep breaths in through your nose, and if you can, out through your nose, but if not, out through your mouth is fine. And make them nice and easy. It can be quite hard if you have built up any intensity and your heart rate's up and you maybe are up there at a 3 or a 4. It can be hard to control your breathing. So do your best to take slow, deep breaths and see if you can maintain that. Just have that awareness. Fantastic. How are your shoulders? Are they still pulled back and down? Thumbs still pointed forwards? Good. While you're pulling your shoulders down and back, it's hard sometimes to keep relaxed while you're doing that. I do appreciate that. Sometimes it can make us feel a bit rigid if it's a movement that we're not used to. So do your best just to keep your neck nice and loose and your shoulders nice and loose. And again, it's one of these things, it just comes with practice. Wonderful. How about your feet? You still have that heel strike and the roll through and the push. Good. I know, there's lots to think about, and that's why we break them down. So you don't need to be thinking about everything all at one time. Break it down into pieces. One time we'll think about the feet, another we'll think about the core, later on we'll think about the shoulders. And it just helps to, as I say, build those habits. And we're just going to continue to make our way back to the park. So we don't want to turn off any junctions. And you're going to come from a nice smooth surface onto a paved area. And just take care here because some of the pavings are a bit uneven. And there are a few wee trip hazards here, so just watch what's happening underfoot. And now I think if you have built up any intensity, then let's just take it back down a wee bit. Focus on your breathing. It's still the time to focus on your posture. Still the time to focus on your core and your shoulders. But we don't have to worry quite so much now about the roll through the foot because we're not really looking for any intense pushing and propulsion in this wee cool down phase of our walk. So carrying on, the pond will be on your left hand side and we'll just slowly make our way back to the car park. Great job, well done today. I hope you enjoyed this walk. There are many more that you can try. Lots of beginners. So if you're just at the start of your fitness journey, you might want to join one of them. But if you're ready to take it to the next stage, then you might be looking at one of the improvers walks. I also offer audio guided Nordic walks, and that's where you need a special piece of equipment, Nordic walking poles, and I give you a full rundown of the technique that you need. And those walks, walking with poles, can certainly make walking easier, or certainly can make it feel easier. And that might help you at the start of your fitness journey. But equally, it can make your walk more intense. It really just depends how you use them. So if you want to find out more about that, you can drop me a wee message, we can have a chat, or you can just check out one of the walks if you want to just head straight into it. But here we are now back at the car park. Feel free to take a seat, have a wee rest, engage a wee bit with nature, and just feel proud of yourself. Feel accomplished. Well done. I hope to see you again soon.